Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today, I want to talk a little bit about 8 reasons why y'all should be buying precious metals. I know a lot of people that watch these videos already are buying precious metals. They understand that precious metals, what they are, what they're good for, and may not know, though, all of these reasons. They may just have a couple reasons of their own. And so I figured I wanted to share this. Now, the reason I'm sharing this too is I was actually cleaning out my house. Some of y'all know I do want to move by the end of the year. And so I have been kind of getting rid of a lot of stuff. And I had a desk drawer that happened to have this book. And it's an old book because one of the reasons when it talks about the U.S. debt, it says 18 trillion. And this was actually a flyer that a company had mailed me. They were trying to solicit setting up like a 401k or a IRA or something with precious metals. And I originally signed up for a lot of these different mail orders, I guess you can say, from different companies because a friend of mine had ordered one from a company and they actually sent him a small silver coin for free. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I said, but keep in mind, too, back then when that happened, silver was only like $15. So, I thought maybe, oh, you know what? Well, I'm going to put in. And he didn't remember the name of the company. He had just seen something advertised on TV. And so he put in. And he got the coin. He liked it. And that was one of his earlier coins in stacking. So I kind of wanted to, before I threw this away, I was reading through it and I was like, man, there's a lot of good information on here. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this as well. If you enjoyed today's video or if something comes up that you didn't know, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me. Help me out. It really does. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, why you're stacking precious metals. Real quick, though, let's take a look at precious metals. So precious metals has been dipping. It is at $31 an ounce. It's a buying opportunity. I know I've spent way too much money this past week, but I'm not worried about it because, real money is precious metals in my opinion, not paper. So I'm taking advantage of the dip and in both silver and gold, even though I have done more gold recently. But now we got gold down to $28.53. And I know right off the bat, a lot of people are going to be like, dude, that's a huge dip. I understand it's fallen a little bit. It's not really a huge dip in my opinion. You got gold down $100 from its basically high. So, it can recoup $100 pretty easy in my opinion. But when you look at other things, one specific thing everything's coming down right now. But one specific thing that I wanted to also bring mention to is Bitcoin. Yesterday when I shot my video, it was at 85,000. And we're down another 5K just in the last 24 hours. And we're starting to see the air come out of the crypto bubble. And it's not just Bitcoin. It's taken a lot of cryptos with it. And, that's going to be ugly as time goes on. I mean, this is a 1-month chart now on Bitcoin. We've had Bitcoin. It was technically up to almost 110,000. But the 1-month chart shows it at 105 and all the way down to under 80K now. And some people are saying, oh, back up the truck. This is the time to buy. Because I talk to people that are into Bitcoin. But me personally, I would rather have precious metals for the 8 reasons that I'm about ready to tell you guys. Now, keep in mind, too, the stock market's falling. A lot of investments are dipping right now. However, I'm convinced that gold and silver will go back up really quick. So with that being said, let's jump in and let's start talking a little bit about some of these reasons. So right off the bat, the very first reason is the Federal Reserve's risky monetary policy. A lot of people know what happened during the 2008 housing crisis. Essentially, they launched QE. They bought back a lot of assets. They essentially bailed out a lot of companies, and government ended up footing the bill. But here's the thing. These banks caused a lot of the 2008 housing crisis. And once you realize that, you understand that you're essentially propping up a system that is kind of making bad decisions. And so that's one of the big reasons on here. Now, I'm not going to sit here and read it verbatim from the book, although, I mean, I could. The next thing, the decline of the dollar. A lot of people are starting to realize now, back when this was written, the BRICS wasn't largely talked about. However, the dollar was going down in purchasing power. And it was obvious. I mean, you were seeing it in prices of everything going up higher and higher. And you were seeing precious metals even go up higher and higher. And that's why a lot of people wanted to get into precious metals. In fact, one page in this book that I'm looking at right now actually has the price in 2000, 2001, 2002. And I'm going to read some of the prices real quick on silver so you can hear what happened. You had 457 in 2000. And that was the first time that I actually heard about silver. In 2001, you had 407. 02, you had 424. 03, you had 437. 04, $5.50. 05, $6.39. 06, we saw a nice little jump to $8.83. 07, we got up to $11.67. 08, we came down a little bit. It came down to $8.88. And a lot of people had this attitude that, man, silver's almost $12. It can't go any higher. Who in their right mind would pay $12 for silver? Because these people had it in the mindset, one price that they became accustomed to. Just like a lot of us have became accustomed to high 20s and low $30 silver. When we see the next jump, a lot of people might think, oh, it's just a jump. It's not the end of the world, and they want to take profits. I actually had read a comment the other day of someone that sold when it hit $33 an ounce. And, I understand some people, if you're taking profits because you need something, I can understand that. But I certainly wouldn't want to save my money in dollars. As time went on, though, the next year after 888, we went up to 1051, then 1514. And then in 2011, when stuff was really getting ugly, we jumped to 2616. And 2012, it, hung around the 2672. Now, 2013, we did see it dip back down to 1861. Now, we know what happened as time went on because now we're pretty much double that, essentially. And, 10 more years have passed, and we're continuing to see precious metals go higher and higher. And that's because we're seeing the dollar, the U.S. dollar, and all fiat currencies of the world get basically debased and lose purchasing power. The next one's the national debt. It's pretty obvious that we do not have the capability to pay back the national debt. For those of you that don't know the national debt, this book actually says 18 trillion. But now, we're double that. Literally, since this book came out, we have doubled the national debt. We're now at $36.5 trillion with not really much signs of slowing down. They're continuing to spend. The interest is huge. When you look at the debt to GDP ratio, you're sitting at 123%. This is unsustainable. Now, do I want to see the dollar go on? Of course. I don't want to see the dollar collapse. Why? Because my retirement is in dollars. Some of y'all know I'm military. I was military. And so I get my retirement in dollars. Now, I don't want to see the dollar plunge in value. But I am going to safeguard myself to where if it does happen, that I'm protected that way too. Because there's going to be a lot of people out there that are not protecting themselves for when that day comes. Maybe they're relying solely on Social Security and they think their Social Security is always going to be there. And for the most part, it could be. However, it's almost a guarantee that the purchasing power of their Social Security is not going to go up on par with the prices. And we're seeing that right now. Inflation they claiming is like 3%. Anybody that knows anything, anybody that goes to the grocery store knows that we're seeing more than 3% inflation. That's the biggest lie. because just like any numbers can be manipulated, they can manipulate the inflation rate by picking and choosing what items they want to put in there, such as designer clothes. I mean, how many people out there are going out buying designer clothes? I don't care if designer clothes fall by 90% in price, because I don't wear them. I just go to Walmart, pick up a couple of things, and boom, I'm good to go. Maybe JCPenney's, maybe, some of these other little stores that just miscellaneous. Mostly I just go to Walmart, though. I'm not going to lie, because it's simple. Moving on this list, the next thing, bankruptcies. And a lot of people don't know this, but in 2013, the city of Detroit filed Chapter 9 bankruptcy. The largest, I can't pronounce that word, but basically, when a city, I feel bad not being able to pronounce it, but a city filed bankruptcy. And, when you think about that, the city went through a out legal battle over the debt and should be paid down. And look what happened. So when you realize that, how many other cities are going through similar situations? Maybe they haven't filed bankruptcy, but there's a lot of other cities like New York, California, Los Angeles, Chicago. I said California because there's multiple cities in California. However, they just specifically said Los Angeles. And some of y'all have been following what's going on over there. So, that's a whole nother reason. I mean, could it be your town? Could it be your city? Where do we stand? Could it be the country as a whole? I don't know if a state could, but I mean, if a city could, I guess a state could too. Next one, can banks really be trusted? The country's worst financial downturn since the Great Depression had numbers of devastating effects, not the least of which was the failure of thousands of U.S. banks. But an even scarier prediction was set overseas, when up to 60% of bank deposits were taxed in the nation of Cyprus. Some of y'all may know people in Cyprus instantly woke up and a big portion of their money was just taken away. Now, the U.S. has the Dodd-Frank Act now, and essentially what that means is we did bank bailouts in 2011. However, would that happen in 2008? Would that happen again today? Not likely. The government learned their lesson, and now they said, the people were unhappy. So the next one is going to be the depositors that bail it out. I'll be honest, if I'm banked at a bank, I would probably rather see the tax dollars than my personal savings account. However, once you give your money to the bank owns it. I mean, yeah, they owe it to you. They owe you that money essentially on demand, or in some cases, if you go in and you want to liquidate your whatever your savings account, maybe if you've got like 50 grand, they're not going to give you 50 grand in cash right then and there. They might make you come in. They might give you a check and say, deposit it at another bank. I don't know what they would do in that case, but we've seen overseas where people were trying to withdraw large amounts of cash and they weren't allowing it. So once you realize that, the next one's geopolitical issues. Now, we talked about this all the time with what was going on in Europe, what was going on in Asia, what's going on in the Middle East. We're seeing issues continue to pop up. When issues pop up, a lot of times people turn to gold. They turn to gold because they recognize gold as a safe haven asset. Gold and silver, supply-demand issues. Look what's going on now. Now, they didn't know this back then, but look what's going on now with the LBMNA. LBMNA. Having a hard time saying it. Over in London. I mean, they are trying to get tons of gold out, and they're saying that there's an 8-week delay. Once you realize what's going on there, they say that it's just logistics. I'm not convinced of that. I'm convinced that they're scraping the bottom. They're trying to get as much gold. I'm not convinced that everybody has the gold that they say. Somebody has the gold, but who? Does Fort Knox have it? There's a lot of questions right now that we want to audit it. Does Fort Knox have it? Does JP Morgan have it? Do individuals, everyday people, are they sitting there holding it in the form of jewelry? I'm convinced that it's not in the form of jewelry. There are people like me and you that are maybe stacking precious metals, but I don't think that's a large percentage. And most of the individuals, I see when they put up the "we buy gold, we buy silver" signs, a lot of people were bringing in their broken jewelry or their old jewelry, and they were shocked to see some of the numbers they were getting. And what was really sad was they got excited over what they got. Can you imagine what it was really worth? I talked to one lady that she brought in a little Ziploc bag full of broken jewelry that was in her little jewelry box, and she decided she wanted to clean it out, the stuff that was broken and she didn't wear anymore. She's like, well, I'll take it in even if I get a few dollars. And the guy's like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. They gave her $1,500 for that little Ziploc bag. Here's the thing. When you start tacking up grams of gold, it doesn't take much to get $1,500, especially today with gold almost at an all-time high. A gram of gold right now, well, before this recent drop, when I looked at it 2 days ago, a gram of gold was like $92. So you got to understand, 15 grams of gold and boom, you're there. Maybe 16, if you count that little difference. But so there are issues with demand, and that's why a lot of places are trying to buy up gold. They're trying to get the gold where they can. And then lastly, a hedge against economic issues. What could happen? Could we see some major event like a stock market collapse, kind of like what we're seeing right now? We're seeing the stock market take big hits. A lot of people want to say these big hits are because of tariffs. I'm convinced these big hits were already in place. Just, they were kind of papering them over, I guess you can say. Now big money is willing to sell. No matter what the current administration does, I think they're going to take flack. I looked at some of the stuff that some of the programs they're trying to implement. They're literally trying to save the country money on a lot of different fronts. They're trying to, one, possibly take resources from another country. Two, maybe tax resources coming in from another country under the disguise of put Americans back to work, bring factories back here. But at the end of the day, they're gaining money. It's to draw in money. Another thing is the new gold card. That's a hot issue. I wanted to do a video specifically on that. For those of you that don't know, you know what a green card is. When people apply after a couple years and they meet the requirements, they get a green card, and it's all legal. Well, now you can get the Trump gold card for $5 million. Now, a lot of people don't know, don't realize, think about how many wealthy people there are out there in the world that would love to become American citizens outright and have dual citizenship. You think about all the big money in the Middle East, the oil companies, the high ups, and here's the thing, they're not coming alone. They're going to probably pay $5 million for them, $5 million for their spouse, $5 million for their kids. That starts tacking up and adding up when you really think about how much money that is and how much money it could bring in. Real quick, let's pull this calculator up real quick. That was me fantasizing about $10,000 silver, and I was calculating all kinds of different numbers. But let's see here. Jumping around. Where was I going? Oh, I was about ready to calculate the $5 million. Boom. $5 million per person to get one of these green cards. Let's just say we have 200,000 people decide to get it. Boom. Look at how much money that is. That's $1 trillion. 200,000 people. There's got to be 200,000 people out there that are multimillionaires that would like to be. 200,000 is not really a lot of people. There are cities with that. So that's $1 trillion. So I'm looking at a lot of the different stuff that he's implementing. And part of me even wonders if he is even going to do the tariffs. Right now, the tariffs are set to go down on the 4th. So I think that's Tuesday. But will he, or will he push them back? Because when you look at what's going on, a lot of gold is flowing into the United States. A lot of products are flowing into the United States. Companies that do business with us are trying to hurry up and get their products to the United States now, because when tariffs kick in, they know they're going to have to charge more money. And they're going to instantly jump them prices. So let me give you a scenario. If, hypothetically, I don't know if gold is going to be tariffed, but let's just say for a minute, gold is $3,000 an ounce. And we put a tariff of 25% on that. Even if they've already got the gold in the country, they're still going to tack that 25% on. They're going to tack it on right off because they know the next stuff that comes in, they're going to have to pay it. And they'd want to make more profits. So, of course, they're going to start charging it instantaneously. Kind of like when they think gas is going to go up. Look at gas right now. So gas is down right now, but they're about ready to jump it. Spring break is only 2 weeks away. And you can expect to see gas prices jump. Right now it's cheap. I should have started out the video with that for those of you that are watching, because I would recommend, if you have any gas cans, fill them up. I would recommend if you fill your vehicle all the way up and keeping it full up until they jump the price. I would not be surprised to see the price jump by like 30 cents, maybe even 40 cents in 2 weeks, but it will be short-lived. It will just be for spring break. So with that being said, that's pretty much it and all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. I know I'm super excited to see what's 78 now. We just keep falling. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. Eventually, everything goes to its intrinsic value, which means a $100 bill is just a piece of paper, really, piece of cotton toilet paper. And at the end of the day, it's great. People accept it for $100. Bitcoin, it's digital. It's great. People accept it right now for $78,900. But at the end of the day, gold and silver is tangible. They need silver, physical silver, for technology, and gold, they need physical gold for technology. They need it for essentially economics. And I mean, really, you can say silver for economics too, but some people will say silver is not really an economic metal. I believe it is, but I can see their argument in that, because big banks do recognize gold as a tier 1 asset. They don't recognize silver as a tier 1 asset. But with that being said, there's a lot of demands for gold and silver, and it has been money throughout history. Just because it's not today does not mean that it won't be tomorrow. It was in the past, and I think it will come back to that at some point. So I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did and you made it this far, please give me that thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.